Radical.
This is going to be a quick upload, just going to give a couple thoughts on a lot of the high scorers in the NBA. But before I get into that, I want to say, here's an update. Jeff Brister came by and told me that Shannon actually went back on Skip and Shannon Undisputed. So he's back on that show. I looked at it, and it seemed very, between the both of them, just icy. Just very, very icy. You could tell there was some issues there. Shannon, he didn't hesitate from bringing up the tweet from Skip saying that he should have took it down, and then he was interrupted. Skip interrupted him, and then Shannon didn't really like that. He said, listen, I can't even get through my opening monologue without you interrupting me. So between the both of them, yeah, I think when Shannon's contract is up, I think he's done. I think he's not coming back. He's not going to renew his contract, I would say. But he has Club Shay Shay. So he's very entertaining to listen to. I tell you, listening to Skip, it was just terrible. I just can't listen to Skip alone. But yeah, so there's that. But I want to talk about something that's going on in the NBA that's just kind of crazy right now. I don't think we've ever seen this before in the NBA, but there's so many players now scoring so many points. I saw a graphic that there was actually 12 players that have passed the 50-plus point threshold so far in the season, and we're not that terribly super far in the season, but you already have all these players that have scored over 50. You have some that have done it twice or more. Joel Embiid, Devin Booker. I think Luka has done it 3 times. So my question is, should we be super impressed right now in a 50, 60, 70-point game right now? You know, once upon a time, there was a lot of focus on Michael Jordan's double nickel game, that 55-point game, right? And you look back at that now and you're like, well, you have all these players that have scored over 50 and whatnot. I think there's a couple reasons as to why. And if you look at the end score on a lot of these games, the average score is higher than it was decades ago. I think that's a prominence mostly on the 3 ball. There's a lot more people shooting threes. You even got some centers shooting threes. People that normally wouldn't be sharpshooters that are, trying their hands at threes. So I think the league has changed since, Curry showed basically, he does it on a different level, of course. But I think the league has changed. The spacing has changed. And you have all these things that lead up to a recipe of more points. The defense is a lot softer now than it was maybe in the thousands and the 90s and whatnot. You don't have any bad boy Pistons, okay? There's not going to be a whole lot of really, really hard defense. You don't have a lot of that now. So essentially, fouls are a lot easier to get on defensive players. Now, that's just 2 examples. That's just 2 of my examples that I think it's a lot easier for these players to score right now than in previous years. So you look at all these players that are scoring 50-plus. And LeBron, he had a 47-point game, which was on his birthday. But that even, pales in comparison. That's impressive for a 38-year-old. But these days, those back-to-back 30, 40-point games, that's not that big of a deal. Now you got to look at the back-to-back 50 games, the 60 and 70. Yeah, one player actually scored 70-plus games. Donovan Mitchell scored 71 points. But here's the thing on that. Donovan Mitchell should only get half credit because he was at free throw line and he got his own rebound from a missed free throw, an intentionally missed free throw, and he put it back to get the game to go to overtime. But he left past the line before it actually hit the rim. So it shouldn't have counted. It did count, but it did look amazing. It did look freaking amazing. but that is what helped him to get 71 points. And then you have Luka, which I think he had about 20 rebounds with that 60-point performance. Luka's just an offensive machine. He's really, really just an offensive machine. And then you had Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, who is back. He's looking great post that terrible injury. He's back. He's looking great. He had 54 points in a Warriors win. And recently, very recently, you had Giannis, who is a beast, of course. He's just a freaking beast. He scored 55 points. Now, what is the most impressive of these? I didn't see all these performances. You can argue maybe LeBron's is very impressive because he's 38 years old. Out of all those performances, I'd say maybe the Luka one is impressive, the most impressive, because he got 20 rebounds on top of the 60 points.